but just have it be a random person who hunts people. Like, there's plenty of
I don't know.
cray wild people out there, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to come up with reasons for tension and conflict in the show, but I don't know. Just felt like been there, done that. So we'll see. I mean, it's only the first introduction. Maybe it will turn into this amazing concept.
Yeah, maybe they'll be the best things we've ever seen. They definitely have hand grenades, so that's something.
Okay, number 1.
For me, it was, I've just written Maggie, Negan, the whole damn thing, and baby Herschel with a love heart after it. Yeah, Maggie's back, and I'm so happy. It just makes my heart sore to know that we've got Lauren Cohen back. And yeah, I'll hold my hands up to it. I was excited for cute kid Herschel, and I was not disappointed. He's adorable.
Me too. Yeah,
I really wanted his first line to be "Hey dumbass," but I don't think you can call your mom a dumbass if your mom is Maggie, and she's scary.
Hey dumbass, I'm up here in the tree.
I kind of like that it did mirror Glenn's entrance a little bit in terms of like, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
Hey, here I am. I'm up above you.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Obviously, they've cast the cutest little guy. And it's interesting because we don't really see Herschel at this age in the comics. We see him much later. And it seems to me that they're going in a slightly different direction in the show. And I'm glad about that because I think it'll fit with the show better. I'm really intrigued to see Judith and Herschel kind of interacting because cute.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, Herschel has something from his dad, the baseball hat. That was Glenn's hat. And it's like how Judith used to wear Rick's sheriff hat, and now RJ wears it. And also she has something from her grandpa, his name. I mean, he has something from his grandpa, his name, Herschel. So it's like this legacy of what's come before, but he's his own cute little person too. And I like how calm he was. Like, he does his whistle and he's like, "Hi, Mom." And it's like, yeah, this is just another day in the life for
he's clearly been well trained to like get out of trouble and climb a tree. Like, I was like, I guess this is parenting in the apocalypse, isn't it? It's like, if something happens, climb a tree. Like, be quiet until I find you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that look that, I mean, she was clearly happy to see him, big smile, but maybe it was almost like a knowing look, like, oh, I'm so proud that you did exactly what I taught you.
Exactly. And he was, the Hunger Games thing continues because they have their little whistle, like Rue and Katniss in the Hunger Games. And the history of the show in this episode was just so nice. And having Maggie and Daryl talk, because I forget, Maggie and Daryl, they've been through a lot together. They had that whole storyline in the first part of season 9 with the Oceansiders taking out saviors. Remember, they choose to walk away when Rachel and everyone are executing saviors, which is a dark moment for both of them, but understandable why they do it. And obviously Daryl really tortured himself about Glenn's death and really felt that it was specifically his fault, and Maggie kind of gave him that redemption. Right. So I just it felt like right to me that the two of them would share these kind of scenes together, and Maggie talking about her father, Bethy, and of course Daryl and Beth. She always owed Daryl a debt for kind of taking care of Beth when they all got split up.
And I like that she called her Bethy. That was a nice. I don't think she'd ever said that, but everything you're saying I love too, and just the whole conversation between Daryl and Maggie and her catching him up on everything. But it was just as much about the vibe of them having a quiet moment together as anything that they were saying, because of all the history that they've had. It was just a very good performance by both of them. That was really nice to be in that moment.
It's so nice. And even it was sad, and it was, this idea of like, how do you tell a kid something so traumatic? Like, it's this idea of like, because it happens, I know, in like friends of mine who have children, or there's been an event in their family that they don't, one day you're going to have to talk to your kid about it and you don't quite know how to even start or broach it. Do you wait for the kid to ask you? What do you tell them? You probably shouldn't lie to them, but how much do you actually tell them? And it was so interesting to me. Here's where babies Maggie come from. Yeah, here's where babies come from. Also, your dad got his head beaten by a baseball bat by Negan. Anyway, here's some candy. Climb up a tree until we next meet.
You mean that guy over there fixing that house? Yep, that's
that everyone's
the guy.
going, oh, hey, Negan, we love you. Thanks for saving us. You're like, yeah, that guy, he's a dick.
Stay away.
So yeah, I think it's good. And I think having her and I love the kind of final image of her and Herschel walking into Alexandria with this kind of swagger that they deserve because, you know, they're legendary. But yeah, this idea of like, we're home now and Negan just being like, oh. It was quite a fun note to end the episode on, and I'm glad that they held off from having Maggie and Negan interact until this episode because it was a good payoff. Because I complained about that in the finale. I was like, why didn't we see Maggie see Negan? But I'm glad that they held it off. I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
Yeah. So no, I'm just so happy Lauren Cohen is back. I don't think it would have felt right without her. Just in the same way that I don't think the show concluding is going to feel right unless we get some closure with Rick and Michonne. So, yeah, fingers crossed that happens. But who knows?
Yeah. Well, that goes into mine pretty well because it's just some nice moments that I thought were in this episode. And you mentioned, them clearing out these storage rooms, and I thought it was great to see some good old badass zombie disposal because our characters are well versed in that until, actually, to be honest, when they were trying to push all those Zeds into the one storage container, it felt like, I don't know if this is the best way to go about it. And Maggie got scratched too. So for me, that was one of those moments like that seemed a little bit dumb. And especially the one who was halfway out of it going, I'm like, you should really stab him in the head right now. But they didn't because they wanted the gag of squishing his head, which was great. Good job, Greg Nicotero. But it felt like one of those Walking Dead moments where the characters don't do exactly what you think they should because the show wants to get to the gag. I think that was a set piece of like, we can't have a big zombie slaying thing, so we're going to have this, and how do we get to it? Oh, they're going to have to do some stuff that doesn't actually make a totally
huge amount of sense.
Yeah, but it was still cool. But I'm supposed to be talking about nice moments. I already talked about all the stuff with Daryl and Maggie, which I thought was great. I also liked when Daryl, when Maggie mentions that she took Herschel to her Nana's cabin by the ocean that her and Glenn had talked about going to, and Herschel's playing in the waves and getting knocked down, but gets right back up laughing, and Daryl laughs at that. And, he's always been a sucker for kids, so that was a cool moment.
I feel like they were both thinking about Glenn there as well, because Glenn had that kind of dorky side of like, he was quite klutzy at points and that sort of kind of good sense of humor about it. And I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah. And I liked early Glenn, and when he was more, dorky and kind of, unsure of himself a little bit and funny. And when we had Stephen Yeun on that to interview him, I think he didn't want to be seen as like comic relief. So I feel like he may have pushed for Glenn to be more serious and, more heroic and stuff. And
you can understand why, I think, in the context of like being a visible Asian male lead on a show. But I miss dorky Glenn too.
I know.
It was very endearing.
And when he did become more solid, I felt more like, oh yeah, this is a formidable person, which I'm sure that's a great representation and it makes sense for the show and everything. So it was good. But I missed dorky Glenn too. But anyway, while we're talking about Stephen Yeun, I just want to mention that he recently had a movie out, Minari, which is he's been being considered, or there's buzz that he may be the first Asian considered for Best Actor for Oscars.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah,
I would love that so much.
So I really want us to cover that sometime when we have a break. I want to watch it and cover it.
Yeah, I've access to it thanks to a friend. So yeah, I think it would be really great to cover it because it's an interesting story as well, because it kind of mirrors a bit of Stephen Yeun's own experience of being a kind of immigrant to North America. So yeah, no, I think Stephen Yeun deserves a big break soon. Like, he's so talented and so great that I really hope this is it for him, because he should have all the good things.
Yeah, there was a rumor for a while that he was going to be Robin or Nightwing. I thought that would have been cool.
I read that as well. Yeah, that would have been pretty awesome.
A couple other nice moments. I mean, the whole thing we've already talked about with Elijah and Kelly, and then Kelly and Maggie, so I won't repeat that. And then the thing about Daryl saying sorry to the woman he just almost killed. That was
sorry.
But yeah, I guess we've already talked about all these. I think my favorite was when Maggie hears Herschel's whistling and sees him up in the tree, and he's like, "Hey, Mom." So
he's like just so cute. He's so cute. I think I liked as well with the clearing the container area. I did think Maggie was being a bit like, yeah, I'm a badass now. I'm going to clear this. Daryl's like, we're going to go up into the woods. And she's like, no, I think we'll sleep better with some shelter. And I was like, oh, she's got swagger. This is great. He's like, okay. Okay, cool.
All right. Notes?
None. We covered all of my stuff.
Okay, let's see. Judith had to comfort poor RJ, we learned, by telling him his mom was looking at the same stars. And I'm like, if I was RJ, I'd be like, cool, but why the fuck is she not here?
No, if you were RG, you'd be like, cool, but why the fuck is she not here?
Why is she not here with us?
Because you're terrifying. You have a terrifying voice for a small child. Yeah, Michonne is not really winning any Parent of the Year awards this year. Is she?
And it's unfortunate because it's just because Denai Guerrero rightfully wanted to explore her career. Every right to do that. I don't begrudge that at all, but they just left. I've talked about this before, but they want to keep Judith on there because she's so great, and so they have to. And it feels like they're trying to excuse Michonne doing this by paralleling. Maggie says, I told Herschel the same, but that's Herschel's nearby. And surely she said, well, Mommy's going to go out for a day or so, but I'll be back. So you wait here with our friends, and, not like just suddenly disappeared for who knows how long.
Yeah, it's like, I told Herschel the same thing. He's just in that tree. He's literally right there. Because I'm a good parent.
Anyways, the last thing is Maggie, tells Kelly, you can't go running off by yourself like that. And I'm like, okay, but you also shouldn't sneak up and grab people's ankles when they're carrying slingshots. And that was to have a tense moment in the story, but I'm like, that's not really the way to do that.
Yeah, you're like, also, when we're talking about etiquette, let's have a chat about this.
Right. Just don't grab people and say, hey, what are you doing over here? So that's all I got. That was really fun and great. Great to be back. We'll take a little break. And what can we expect from Maggie in the new episode? She says, I recently turned on one of the episodes that I hadn't seen yet, which was one of Denai Guerrero's last episodes. And I felt so encouraged seeing characters that I've watched for 10 years make it through another episode. I was like, this is why everyone is watching this right now during the pandemic, because it feels good to see that it can be okay. I think that my pitch for these 6 new episodes is that it will help people see that you can maybe pull through one more thing that seems insurmountable. You will be changed. What do you think about that? Do you think, watching The Walking Dead can help us feel better about what we're going through?
I think it can. I think it's good escapism, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's been a bit more on the nose in the last year with the whole kind of apocalyptic pandemic thing. But I think, there is always hope in The Walking Dead, and I think it's nice. I think that it does give you that. And when the show went off the rails in season 7 was, I think, when it lost that hope. And I think it says a lot.
Especially when it was just a continuation of 7.
And I think it came at a bad time for the world in terms of hope. And I think this Kang era of kind of a more hopeful Walking Dead is well timed. And I think it would, I think that's a fair comment, to be honest. It definitely does for me.
Cool. Melissa McBride, they said the same question. What can we expect from Carol in these new episodes? She goes, I think Carol feels coming out of season 10 that what she's done and the repercussions of the choices that she's made are not lost on her at all. It's like, I know I had to do what I had to do, and then things happen that people are not happy with. But which is worse, having not tried and then the worst thing happens, or having at least tried? All we can do is try. She's got loose ends that need tying up, and she wants to fix this relationship with Daryl. We're going to see Carol trying to take care of some of that stuff. Well, I predict, given that they have a spinoff, that they will somehow work out a way that they can still be hanging out together.
I think that seems likely. Yeah, there's going to be some plot armor things coming up in this season, I think, but I would agree with her assessment.
Maybe by the end of the Walking Dead, they somehow end up handcuffed together and they lose the key, but they hate each other.
That would be
That'll
amazing.
be the
Who's going to 127 hours their arm first?
Or the other person's. Ross Marquand, do you fear being killed off? He says, I used to be so freaked out. Then Josh McDermott pulled me aside and was like, I used to be the same way, but honestly, it's not going to make anything better. It's going to actually drive you crazy. So you've just got to enjoy every day you have on the show, much like you would in real life. Ever since he gave me that advice, it's been a lot more enjoyable. Yeah, that's good advice for anyone in any situation.
I think so. Ross Marquand is great. I'm so glad he's still in the cast.
I know, yeah.
He was always great at Walker Stalker.
We haven't done as many interviews lately, but I do want to do more, and Ross Marquand is one that I hope to get back. Also, I always forget her name, but the actress who plays the princess. I'd love to have those two at some point.
That would be incredible.
Yeah. And then they ask, what can we expect from Aaron in the new episodes? Aaron and Gabriel have worked together a lot in the past, but never this closely. I just love the fact that we get to see so many different facets of these characters that we've never seen before. And it really tests the mental fortitude and the drive of both of these men who have been looking for food and supplies for so long. So I'm totally excited to see. I think there's an episode with them in one of these 6, and I'm really glad because I'd like to see both of them more.
I think so. They've done the hours on this show. You know, we're invested.
Spotlight, yeah.
Even Gabriel. Speaking of bizarre arcs, Gabriel, man, he's a badass now. Maggie's gonna get a surprise.
Yeah. So then the next item, I think this will be the last one, is about Zack Snyder. He's got a new zombie movie coming out, and Snyder started out so strong with his Dawn of the Dead in 2004. My favorite. That
was a good one.
I think zombie movie of all. And that he did 300, which I never saw, but I heard was great. What else? He did Watchmen, which some people didn't like, but I really did. And then pretty much all his movies after that have been kind of like Batman vs. Superman. I mean, they have okay things in them, but anyways. He's got Army of the Dead coming up on Netflix, May 21st. A plague has been released from Nevada's secretive Area 51 military base. The U.S. government has managed to contain the outbreak by building a wall around an overrun Sin City. But there's still all that cash in zombie-infested casinos, if only somebody is brave or dumb enough to try and go get it. The film follows a group of mercenaries who attempt a heist at the casino with Dave Bautista leading the charge. Scott Ward also features Matthias Schweighofer, Ana de la Regura, Garrett Dillahunt.
That dude.
That guy, Raul Castillo, Amari Hardwick, and Tig Notaro, who replaced Chris D'Elia as the rebranded sarcastic helicopter pilot, Marianne Peters. So
Tig Notaro is, I love her.
So, anything with Zack Snyder, I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to keep my expectations low, but I'm also excited because it's another Zack Snyder zombie thing.
No, there's enough in that to make me think this could be really good. So I won't jinx it.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
Sounds good.
While I'm talking about this, over on my other podcast, House Podcastica, that's kind of the one where I cover non-horror stuff, and we do a bunch of different shows like Cobra Kai, Mandalorian, and we're getting ready to do Handmaid's Tale actually. But before Handmaid's Tale, which comes back in April, and actually Wendy and Daphne are going to co-host that with me. So that's going to be fun. Right?
Yay!
Cool. But
that's going to be amazing.
The Zack Snyder recut of Justice League is coming out on HBO Max in March. And me and my four of my longtime friends, actually 3, there's 4 of us total. Richard, who co-hosted some podcasts with me over on House Podcastica, and Eric and Dan, who have both guested. I've known them for decades, and I'm like, we should all do a podcast about something together. So we decided to cover Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, I saw Justice League after Joss Whedon came in because Zack Snyder's daughter sadly killed herself in the middle of him filming that, so he left. And Joss Whedon came in, and the studio said it needs to just be 2 hours, even though there was a lot to do in that movie. And it kind of sucked. There were some fun things about it, but mostly I don't think it was that great. I'm keeping an open mind about this, but I'm also not expecting much. And I think no matter whether it's decent or awful or surprisingly good, that it'll be a fun conversation to have about it.
I think that'll be amazing. That sounds so good. I can tell how excited you are, and I love it. I think that's going to be great.
I am, mostly just because I'm sharing this thing that I love, podcasting with my 3 friends who are basically like brothers to me, you know. That's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
So that's some stuff coming up. But now that's it for the news. Let's move on to listener moans, groans, and grunts. Okay, you want to go first?
Absolutely. Anthony Ibersena. I'm so sorry, Anthony. Ibersena, let's go for that. I loved this episode. It reminded me of the original Predator movie. It was really suspenseful. I think this episode did a good job of leaving people feeling more divided on how they should feel about Negan, so that when they show his backstory in the upcoming episode, you can feel for him and hopefully have some kind of empathy for him. I have to be honest though, seeing Herschel in the tree really made me miss Glenn. Me too. So they better do a hell of a job humanizing Negan, or I might want to see Maggie take a bat to him. I'm curious to see if Negan will try to have a connection with Herschel in some way. I don't know though, that might be pushing it a little too much for me. I'm with you, Anthony.
After we talked, I feel like the totally predictable thing is that Negan will save Herschel's life, and then Maggie will have to wrestle with what to do with that.
Or Herschel will beat Negan to death with a bat.
With a bat in his sleep.
And we'll be like, so the cute kid did it. Are we pissed off?
Yeah, he'll take after his daddy and go into Negan's sleeping area when he's asleep and get him with a screwdriver.
Exactly. And Maggie will just be like, mad respect, kid.
That's my boy. Ashley Edward Wolf says, "Aw, Herschel, aka Mini Glenn, so cute. I thought it was great, but I'm not thrilled about these Reapers. Who is Pope? Why does he want Maggie dead?"
I think it's the actual Pope. We never found out what happened to him after the apocalypse. So I like to think the real Pope is in the woods in Georgia.
Right. Is he shitting in the woods? No, I'm just kidding.
I hope so. Shane Thornsbury says, "I liked Snake Eyes until he took his mask off and he was just a sad guy. I wish they would have left his mask on and made him a cool, badass mystery guy."
No, we didn't.
Elijah.
We liked that it was the way it was, because the cool, badass mystery guy would have just been kind of trite, I thought. But I know there's other people who wanted that too.
I think it could have gone on too long, but maybe, agree to disagree, Shane.
Yeah, I mean, I like because he is a badass, but he's no longer a mystery. So he's got this, he's got like 2 sides to his personality. He's like Batman. Wyman Owen says, "Well, I didn't hate it. I'm glad Walking Dead is back. Missed it way too much. Best 2 scenes when Maggie sees Negan as the wagon pulls away. Yeah, I agree. And when they introduced Herschel, I think I'd agree with that. Everything in between was meh. Other than that mystery dude blowing himself up, this episode didn't have any bang. Still looking forward to more stories, though."
I like that pun. Robin Springer says, "I thought this episode was one of the best. Such a good combination of old times remembered with new tensions. We had to know Maggie wasn't just going to waltz back into Alexandria without having encountered some sort of bad guys. It seems like most of the world is made up of bad guys now. Number 1, I absolutely did not cry during Maggie and Daryl's talk. Cry emoji. Loved the love between them. What went wrong with all those settlements? 2, I absolutely did not cry at Herschel's sweet face and his chirping, 'Hi, Mom.' He's perfect, and it made me so sad for Glenn. 3, does Maggie seem to not know who Pope is? I couldn't read her expression. Overall, so glad The Walking Dead is back."
I mean, she didn't seem to know very much, but I don't know if she knows who the Pope is. Is she Catholic? I don't know.
If she's anything like us, she has no clue what that guy said. So he's just died, and she's like, I actually didn't catch that to know what.
Yeah.
Bob?
What was it? Is there closed captioning for this?
Did anyone get that?
Maybe Kelly read his lips.
Yeah.
Brett Swain says, "Really like this episode. I loved how particularly Maggie and Kelly bonded. Right when Maggie found out that Kelly's sister was missing, she automatically had guilt on her face. She thought of Beth and what it was like during the time Beth was missing. Maggie hardly had any hope that Beth was alive, even after Daryl told her she was. So to see Kelly so passionate about finding Connie is probably what Maggie wishes she did for Beth before she tragically died. I mean, that was tragic because Beth was alive, but the next time Maggie saw her, I think it was when Daryl carried her out of that hospital dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was
that was
rough.
Pretty crappy timing.
Yeah.
Danielle Dement Yost says, I was surprised that Herschel seemed to be walking along with everyone completely unarmed and unprepared for any conflict and or walkers. I would have expected Maggie to have been training him to protect himself from the minute he could walk. Just an observation. I enjoyed the episode, but it wasn't great. Still super happy to have The Walking Dead back. I think he just scarpers up trees. That's my theory.
Yeah, I mean, we were admiring her for teaching him how to hide and then signal where he was, but she's pointing out that he didn't have any weapons as far as we could see. He's just a little kid, but I don't know. I guess you're right.
He's packing a knife somewhere. We just didn't see it.
He must. Yeah, that's a good point. Lisa Tubb says, I enjoyed it. The Maggie/Negan meetup made me as nervous as Judith, and I foresee a great bond with Judith and Herschel sharing stories about their hats.
Oh, little hat friends. Oh, Lisa, good emojis. Yeah. Baseball cap and cowboy hat. Love it. Maria Lawson says, I really loved the music during the scenes where they were being stalked by the ghillie suit guy. It was ominous and really added to the tension.
I didn't mention it, but when he came out, I'm like, wow, that is a big guy. You really didn't see him?
I'm also impressed by ghillie. Maria, are you from Scotland?
I had to look that up. I guess it's a camo suit.
Yeah, a ghillie's an outdoorsman, someone who goes hunting or fishing or whatever.
Vince Yanis says, it was aight. Just feels good having the main show back with our old school characters interacting and being remembered. Oh, that's a nice way to put that.
Yeah. Todd Clegg says, I was pleasantly surprised. It seemed like a regular episode. I was expecting more a single character standalone episode.
Yeah, it was a bit more like a regular episode than I thought it would be too. Karen Shee says, I wanted to love this episode because I'm a big Lauren Cohan/Maggie fan, but I just couldn't get into it, especially the latter half. I understand that COVID only allowed for limited people on set, so why waste that on 3 red shirts and a hokey tropey man in a ghillie suit? 2 people using the same term.
Hokey tropey man.
Never heard of it before. Probably because of day player versus build actor budgeting. There's so much more territory to explore in the dynamics of the characters that were already on set, like Judith, Carol, Lydia, little Herschel, and even Nabila. Integrate Maggie's return through them. I could only guess that the writers are saving more interesting internal plus civil conflict for season 11. I mean, I don't know who these Reapers are, but they already pale in comparison to Negan and the Whisperers. They feel so contrived. Then again, we needed to know where and with whom Maggie had been since episode 905. And her talk with Daryl gave us both exposition and nostalgia. I'd love to see Maggie and Herschel at her Nana's beach house in the series finale. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll just have to trust in Kang and crew to unfold these stories over the next 5 bonus episodes leading into the last 24. No! Frowny face, broken heart. I actually enjoyed AMC's The Making of Season 10C more than this episode. I applaud Angela Kang, Greg Nicotero, Denise Huth, I didn't see that either, and others for implementing COVID measures to keep our beloved cast and crew safe, healthy, and responsible. Greg even found a new technique to make the walkers. Necessity breeds creativity. Lastly, these 6 bonus episodes were shot digitally for the first time ever. Ooh, I didn't know that. Digital film is safer and easier to cut, transfer, and process amid a pandemic. I look forward to the visual vibrancy and sharpness going forward. Possible comic spoilers. Is Cole a stand-in for a comic Jesus or a comic Dante? We kind of mentioned that before. Both characters called Maggie Boss in the comics. That digital film thing's interesting. I mean, I know for Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan is a huge fan of regular film, so they filmed that with regular film. But then when the sequel series or prequel series Better Call Saul came out, they started doing it digitally. And I just think they're so good now at making digital film look like regular film. I even heard Vince Gilligan on a podcast say he hated to admit it, but he did a blind test and he couldn't tell the difference.
It's funny, I was thinking about it. I didn't mention it in our top 5, but I was thinking that the quality of this episode looked really cinematic to the eye, but I wondered if that was just because I don't know, this show's always looked a bit different to Fear in that sense, even though Fear has kind of better cinematography. Yeah, I said something nice about Fear, guys. But I did think it looked, and there was more like slow-mo, and it was slightly... So I did wonder, but I just didn't think to mention it. So I really wish I'd seen that making of featurette, because it sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try to dig it up.
Kristen Crabtree says, I'm glad Maggie's back. Little Herschel made me miss Glenn so much more. I'm looking forward to seeing how she deals with Negan in that story. It looks like it makes Negan nervous, and I like that. I don't think I'm ready for the Reapers. I want some community before we jump into another villain.
I know. I feel like that too. Mark Nagy says the fact she didn't kill him outright, meaning Maggie didn't kill Negan outright, is the least believable thing about a future full of zombies. You kind of mentioned that too.
I kind of agree.
I mean, I thought about that too. Oh, maybe she'll kill him, but I just think there's so much history behind the decision not to kill him.
Oh,
you know,
totally.
And it's like their whole foundation of their community is built on the time that they decided to imprison Negan instead of kill him, so they could show that they're civilized.
I just love the idea of her coming in and just being like,
yeah, that would have been a shocker.
Like, nah.
You know? And then they still do this episode 6 or the 6th one that they're planning this season where they do Negan's flashback, but he's already dead.
It's like it's actually a tribute to Negan because Maggie just killed him.
No, I'm glad they didn't do that. I don't want Negan dying off the show. Okay, we got a couple of calls. First one is from Steve Brown.
Yay.
Hello, Walking Dead cast. This is Steve, and just starting my second watch of the latest episode of The Walking Dead. And I really liked that instead of doing kind of like a previously on and showing us a bunch of clips, they did that little narration by, I guess that's Lydia, talking about the basically what's got us to this point. I really like that. Mm-hmm. You know, I wonder if because of COVID, they had to change some of their ideas or direction they thought they were going, because maybe they were originally going to do something bigger with Georgie and her group, but because they had to kind of scale things down, they went with this storyline of Maggie basically losing everybody. I feel like we missed a scene here. They're hunkered down, the guy gets shot, and they're hunkered down, just hiding in the trees, and then come back from commercial, and they're all separated and running. I feel like we missed something. Okay, that guy just blew himself up. Cute kid, but seriously, he's just been hanging out in a tree when all this has been going on? Home Sweet Home, he said the title of the episode. Mic drop.
Yeah, the Lydia thing, I liked that too, but then I was a little caught off guard that she had pretty much nothing to do with the episode. It made me think she'd be more involved.
It was a bit strange. We see her briefly, but like, there's no Lydia. Yeah, it was a bit strange. It was a good voiceover though. I agree with that.
Yeah, it was. Thanks, Steve. And then last we have Seth, Logan, and Ethan calling back in. I think they just finished up the first half of season 7, and Tej, their dad, says, they're going into the thick of it here. Tej says Negan just made spaghetti in Rick's house and called Olivia fat before Iraq shot her.
Oh man,
it was quite a night. I thought burning through this mid-season in 3 weeks instead of 8 made it feel much less depressing. They, however, they had some challenges with a specific part. So,
oh no,
let's see.
Oh boys.
Hi, Jason and Dr. Lucy. I'm Logan and I'm 11.
This is the mid-season finale for season 7. I'm Seth. I'm about to be 12.
Oh.
This is when Negan kills Spencer and feeds Judith spaghetti.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm Ethan and I'm 14.
I hate Negan because he's just a weird guy. He's
okay. So, I think. Okay. I don't like Negan because I don't like him.
Negan's weird but funny occasionally.
Yeah,
occasionally.
All right. I think that the kingdom is very OP. It's just my new favorite character is in the kingdom, and it's literally a tiger.
Okay, so. Oh yeah, I think Rick should fight against Negan, and all the groups should come together because then they have the numbers.
I think Tara shouldn't tell everyone else about the ocean side because then it could cause a whole bunch of trouble that they don't need otherwise.
Oh, Dad, really?
Stop it.
Let me move. I'm out. Nope. No.
It's so funny that song, everybody who's seen Walking Dead immediately comes on and they think torture. Oh my God. But I actually think it's a delightful song. I love that song.
It's like a song you'd have at an advert in the cinema for a soda or something. Those kind of summery adverts where everyone's chilling outside. But I just know that anyone in the audience who's watched The Walking Dead is just going to be
I mean, I had when we did Walker Stalker in London, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Norman were up on the second level, and Mark and Abby from Isimo, the band, they're friends of ours. They've guested on the podcast before. They're brilliant musicians. I had them do a version of that, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast, but they played it, and Jeffrey D. Morgan walked over to the railing and just started flipping us off with a big smile on his face. But it was super funny.
It was awesome. It was so funny. That was such a great venue because it's this massive old Victorian hall, but there's an upper level that looks down into the level below. So when there were panels, you could hang out and listen from upstairs and stuff. It was great. Oh, yeah, good memories.
It's really pretty place too. It's funny when this started off, and Seth is I'm Seth and I'm about to be 12, and I'm like, wow, they're growing up. And the rate at which we're going through these, I feel like by the end I'll be like, I'm Seth and I'm 24. And
yeah. I have a career in finance. It's been a while.
And I just watched the finale of season 9.
I'm impressed that they're all sticking with it. I think they should give Karen a phone though and chat a little bit about Negan. I think
know.
Karen would definitely agree. I had completely forgotten about the spaghetti and poor Olivia.
I know.
And then
Bastard.
Spencer.
This is
that
peak
guy.
fuck you Negan time. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be cussing when they might be listening to this, but I don't want to spoil things either, because maybe, I don't know if you're playing just this part back to the kids, but it's just so funny to hear their reactions here and to wonder what they're going to think about events to come, given that they like the tiger and that they really hate Negan right now. And be really curious to see how. I know they've sent in a couple more recordings, so they've moved ahead a bit, but I don't know exactly where they are right now.
And it's interesting as well listening to anyone who's watching it quickly. I think it's interesting what Tej was saying about it's a bit more bearable when it's not being dragged out week to week. And I'm like, huh.
I bet, yeah.
I mean, I have no desire to rewatch those seasons, but I'm sure I will at some point.
Yeah.
And kind of see what happens.
Well, we were talking about, in that catch up episode, what I'm going to do with this podcast once the show's over. And I imagine it would be really fun to do a series rewatch, but probably not. Maybe 3 episodes at a time or something like that, So I definitely want to go back and rewatch. I haven't gone back and rewatched the first season since they came out, so I'm really curious to see how
really
I'd like it. Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, that's amazing. Huh?
10 years.
That's nuts.
All right, that's our show, episode 421. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed.
Feels Glad so good to be back.
Lucy. Yeah, very much.
It's great.
No comic talk this time. The Reapers are new as far as we know.
They're off book as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
If you guys want to get in on the action, give us a call. You can reach us at 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323.
You can... I lost the thing there. I was like, you can email us at brains@podcastica.com.
And you can find us on the web at facebook.com/deadcast.
And be sure to check out our other amazing shows at podcastica.com.
And if you guys miss Kristen, she's covering Lost with Ben over on We Have to Go Back, the Lost Revisited podcast. Strange Indeed is kind of on a break right now, as is House Podcastica. But I want to mention, if you haven't been listening to Walking Dead cast during this long break, aside from covering Fear the Walking Dead, which we said we weren't going to do, but we did, and World Beyond, we've also done a few other cool things during this off season that you may want to go back and check out. We had a crossover with Chris and Jason of the Talking Dead. We usually do our wrap-up crossover, but this time we just answered listener questions, and that was a ton of fun. And that was the first time Lucy got to be a part of that, so that was fun.
That was great, yeah.
And we'll do our crossover, our normal one after season 10 is over too, our season crossover wrap-up. Karen has guested on a handful of shows. If you miss her, we covered the movie Us, which is great.
Excellent. Yes, that was. Oh my god, I can't believe all this has been in the. I'm like, what? No, that was ages ago. And I'm like, no, that was in the off season. Yeah, Us was great.
And I know some people only listen during the show, so maybe you might want to go back and look at this. We had a 10th anniversary episode because we've been doing this for 10 years, and we played clips from our past of the show. And I also interviewed Angela Kang on that episode, which was a great interview. It was really fun. Karen and I also recently did an episode on the Queen's Gambit, which is fun.
We had fun with Ben Beck. We did favorite directors. That was great.
Yeah, and we talked about Misery and the Babadook. And
the Babadook! The Babadook!
That was a great one. And the Korean zombie show on Netflix, Kingdom.
We've had a great year. This is making me. I'm like, I've been sitting thinking I did nothing. Oh no! And I'm like, oh my god, we did a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Kingdom.
we did.
Oh, have you caught season 2 yet?
No, I still haven't. I probably need to watch season 1 again just to remember what the hell's going on. And then the ones that you weren't on, we did. Me and David did Silence of the Lambs. Me and Mr. Blog did The Last of Us Part 2, and me and my friend Eric did Fight Club. And I also interviewed James Frazier in there, which was...
That was a good episode. Yeah. It was really interesting.
I was a little nervous about it, but it actually went really well. Walker Stalker, James Frazier. So anyway, it's been a great off season. I'm glad to be back on the show. And yeah.
I'm really cheered by that. Yeah, I'm like, oh, we did a lot.
Yeah, we did. And the next episode will be Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 18, Find Me. And I like to remind you, if you're enjoying the podcast and would you like to help support it, you can go to patreon.com/Jason Kabassi. I have the Zed Head show on there now, where I bring in a new listener each month and we talk about whatever subject we come up with. The last couple have been music related. So Laura Willie Swink came on and we just picked 5 songs that were special to us and played clips from them. That was really nice. And then I liked it so much that Paik and Rima came in the next time and we did the exact same thing. And then we just recently did a call-in show where everybody who showed up mentioned a song and I played a little bit of it. Just really getting into music and music appreciation. You guys know how much I like picking songs for the interlude on this podcast, so that's been really fun. We like to come up with cool, fun things to do for the Patreon.
Yay. Yeah.
So come join us on there. Another perk you get is ad-free episodes. So if you're sick of hearing ads, that's another thing. It's patreon.com/Jason Kabassi. So thank you.
Yeah, and less than the cost of a cup of coffee, which none of us can go out for at the moment anyway. So why not?
All right, that's it. That's our show.
Thanks for listening. Don't get bit, Jarrell Crowder.